Hello friends, if you are planning to get a wardrobe made, a lot of questions naturally come to mind. Should I go for sliding shutters or openable ones? Do I need more hanging space or more shelves and drawers? Should I buy a ready-made modular wardrobe or get it custom made by a carpenter? And then comes to the material confusion: plywood, MDF, HDHMR, what is better? On top of that, the finish is the most important part because that decides how your wardrobe will actually look. Don't worry, I will walk you through all of this step by step. Now, the very first question when you start planning a bedroom wardrobe is, should you make it openable or sliding? See, whenever you are spending money on interiors, you usually have two approaches. The first is you want it to look the best. Even if it needs a little maintenance later, that's fine, but looks should be premium. The second is you want something that is maintenance free. Even if you compromise a little on looks, it should last for years without giving you problems. Now, whichever of these two approaches you connect with, that is what will decide whether an openable wardrobe or a sliding wardrobe is better for you. Let us start with the openable wardrobes. These are the most traditional and commonly used type. The doors open outward, which means you get complete access to the inside of the wardrobe. They are also quite low maintenance. If your room has enough free space, then hinge wardrobes are a very good option. Now, even in hinges, there are two main types you should know about. The first is the auto-close concealed hinge. With this, the hinge is hidden inside, so nothing is visible on the outside. And the best part is that it also gives you a soft close effect. The second is the butt hinge. This is an older but very durable option. However, the hinges remain visible on the sides of the wardrobe, so you will have to hide them with design elements. Also, when you use butt hinges, you need to add magnets to keep the door shut, which means you will hear a clicking sound every time you close the door. Now let us talk about sliding wardrobes. If your room is small, then sliding doors are a great space-saving solution because the doors move sideways instead of opening outward. But it is not just for small rooms. Even in a large rooms or walk-in closets, sliding wardrobes work beautifully and give a very modern look. Of course, sliding wardrobes may sometimes need a little more maintenance compared to openable ones. A lot depends on quality of hardware and workmanship. That's why it is very important to always use good branded fittings. Especially for the sliding channel, go for a soft close system so that when you shut the door, it closes smoothly without any noise. And within sliding wardrobes, you have different styles too. For example, a synchro sliding system here. When you open one door, the other side also slides open automatically. Then there are push and open bifold doors. Just a gentle push and the doors fold and open. Similarly, there are pull-out bifold doors, which fold and open when you pull them. So finally, whether you go for openable with auto-close or butt hinges or sliding with modern mechanisms, it all depends on your budget, your room size, and what kind of look and convenience you prefer. Now let us talk about the distance you should maintain in front of wardrobes. If you are making an openable wardrobe in the bedroom, you should always keep at least 3 to 4 feet of space between the bed and the wardrobe. This is because the doors open outward, so you need that clearance to use it comfortably. But if you are going for a sliding wardrobe, then even 2 feet distance is enough, since the doors slide sideways and don't take up extra space. By now, you must have a fair idea whether you want your wardrobe doors to be openable or sliding. Next comes the important part: how to plan the internal details of the wardrobe. This is something a lot of people miss. But trust me, it makes a huge difference in day-to-day use. And remember, the internal planning cannot be the same for everyone. A husband, wife, kids, or parents all have different needs and types of clothing. So the wardrobe has to be customized according to the user. Let me explain this to you with one simple design example. Suppose you are planning a couple's wardrobe. In the male section, we usually give more hanging space because men tend to have shirts, trousers, and formal clothes that need to be hung. Apart from that, you can also keep a stacking area for folded clothes. Then we add a trolley, which is very useful for quick access items, and the top part can be used for extra clothes or accessories that are not used daily. Now in the female section, the planning is slightly different. Women generally need less hanging space compared to men. So we reduce that area and instead provide more space for accessories. For example, a dedicated section for purses or handbags and a locker with a lock, which is very important for jewelry and valuables. Along with that, a small drawer for accessories like watches, belts, or cosmetics is always useful. Just like in the male section, we also keep a trolley here because women usually have more small items like kurtas, leggings, scarves, and this makes organizing easier. At the bottom, you can plan extra storage. If you want to store shoes inside the wardrobe itself, then you can add a pull-out drawer at the base for shoes. Finally, don't forget the loft section at the top. It's perfect for storing travel bags, blankets, or other bulky items that are not used daily. So by thinking about who is going to use the wardrobe and what their needs are, you can design the inside in a very practical and user-friendly way. Now let us talk about kids' wardrobes. Because their needs are very different from adults. The design I am showing you here is a full-height wardrobe that goes all the way up to the ceiling. And it has been divided into 3 main parts. The first part is beside the study table, and it is designed specifically for books and school-related items. Here you can keep all the books neatly along with school bags. Here we have created shelves for their small clothes. Since kids' clothes are teeny and not easy to stack, it is better to use organizers. Just place the clothes inside organizers and keep them here. It becomes much easier to manage. Next comes a section for small accessories like bags, hats, caps. Basically all the little items that kids tend to misplace. For these, we have given separate shelves here. Even in kids' wardrobe, some hanging space is always useful, especially for school uniforms, so we have provided a small area for hanging. Now, for loft storage, we have planned it in a way that it is not visible from outside, but you can still access it from inside the wardrobe. This way, you get extra storage for items that are rarely used, without making the design too bulky. The third part of this wardrobe is all about toys. Here we have created 3 external drawers that are easy to open. Kids usually scatter their toys everywhere, so these drawers help in collecting and organizing them quickly. Apart from that, we have also given an open niche area here. This is just an open box where kids can directly place their toys or favorite items. It's open and accessible, so children can manage it themselves without needing help. So overall, this kids' wardrobe is not just about storage, it is about planning the space in such a way that books, clothes, accessories, uniforms, toys, and even travel bags all have their proper place. This makes the room more organized and also teaches kids how to keep their things in order. Now let us talk about wardrobes for parents. For parents, the requirement is usually more shelves than hanging space because their clothing is generally folded and stored rather than hung. So, in this design, we have kept one hanging area. Along with that, we have provided trolleys for storing smaller items so that daily use clothes or smaller belongings can be accessed easily. In parents' wardrobes, the male and female sections are usually planned in the same way. There is not much difference here, unlike in couple wardrobes where we customize separately. At the bottom, just like in all other wardrobes, we have kept extra storage. This area is slightly less convenient to access, but it is very useful for keeping things in organizers, like extra clothes, bed sheets, or seasonal items that are not required every day. One important point to remember is that wardrobes should always be made full height, that means from floor to ceiling. This ensures you don't waste any space at the top. Now, there are two ways to design a full height wardrobe. The first option is to make the wardrobe till the same height as your room door. At that height, you can add a separate loft above. This way, the wardrobe and loft are clearly visible as two different sections. The second option is to make a continuous full height wardrobe without a visible loft. In this case, the wardrobe doors themselves run from floor to ceiling, and the loft space is hidden inside. So to access the loft, you will need to open the wardrobe doors first. When you are making full height wardrobe doors, make sure that no single shutter is more than 8 feet tall. This is because most materials like plywood, laminates, and even finishes are available up to 8 feet in standard sizes. If you exceed that height, you will need to make joints, which reduces the strength and durability of the door. Of course, with design you can play around by adding grooves or patterns, but wherever possible, avoid making shutters higher than 8 feet in one piece. One of the most common questions people ask is how to manage wardrobes when the ceiling height is more. The simple solution is, wherever your false ceiling is planned, always leave about 1 inch gap and take the wardrobe height right up to that level. From outside, it will look neat and aligned with the false ceiling. From inside, the wardrobe will still go all the way up to the slab, so you will have plenty of storage in the loft area for large bags and bulky items. Now, if you are using 8 feet wardrobe doors, one issue that can happen over time is bending or warping of the shutters. This is quite common because of the door's height and weight. To increase the lifespan and keep them straight, you can install door straighteners at the back of the shutters. These are simple fittings but make a big difference in durability. Another important detail in today's wardrobes is lighting. Lighting inside wardrobes has almost become a necessity now, because it not only looks premium but also makes the space practical to use. For this, you mainly have two types of lights: surface lights and concealed lights. Earlier, people used to fit lights with simple push buttons, but these have become outdated now. And there is one problem. If the wardrobe doors are not closed properly, the lights remain on. Instead of these, you can go for modern square push buttons. Or even better, you can use sensor lights which turn on automatically when you open the doors. My suggestion would be to go for concealed profile lighting. These are slim lights that are grooved into the slides of the wardrobe and installed vertically. The advantage is that the light spreads evenly across the entire wardrobe height. If you only place a light at the top, the lower shelves remain dark. But with a vertical profile light, all shelves from top to bottom get proper illumination. This makes your wardrobe not just stylish but also very functional. Now let us talk about the materials that are commonly used for making wardrobes. The main ones are plywood, blockboard, HDHMR, MDF and solid wood. I will explain one by one, where each of these is used. But first, let me tell you what you should definitely avoid, and that is particleboard. If you are buying a ready-made wardrobes online and find them very cheap, it usually means they have been made using particleboard. It looks okay at first, but it is weak, not long-lasting, and gets damaged very quickly, so avoid it completely. The best option for wardrobes is BWP plywood. That means boiling waterproof plywood. It is strong, durable, water resistant, and also termite proof. If budget is not a problem, BWP plywood should always be your first choice. Now, if BWP feels a little heavy on the budget, you can use MR grade plywood, that is moisture resistant ply. But remember, this should only be used if your wardrobe is not touching a moisture prone wall. If the backside of your wardrobe is against a wall, make sure that wall is finished with laminate or tiles so that moisture doesn't affect it. The second option after BWP plywood is HDHMR, High Density High Moisture Resistant Board. It is quite strong and works well for wardrobes, so you can make your entire wardrobe either with BWP ply or with HDHMR. When it comes to the shutters, to avoid bending issues, you can combine materials. For example, you can make the base of the shutter with blockboard and then put a layer of MDF on top. MDF is great for creating designs, grooves, or patterns because it gives a very smooth finish. And finally, if budget is not at all an issue, then you can make the whole wardrobe out of solid wood. It gives a premium look and is very long lasting, though it is the most expensive option. So in simple terms, your safest and most practical options are BWP plywood or HDHMR for the main wardrobe and MDF for the finishing layer to create beautiful designs. Now let us talk about finishes for wardrobes. For the external finish, you have several options: laminate, veneer, acrylic, glass, rattan, and leather. Starting with laminate, this is the most cost-effective option and comes in a huge variety of designs and colors. You can even create patterns by adding grooves, which can make your wardrobe look more interesting. For external surfaces, it is best to use laminate that is about 1 to 1.25 mm thick, while for the internal spaces, 0.8 mm works fine. Nowadays, matching edge banding for inner laminates is easily available, so you don't have to worry about those sharp, dark edges that used to spoil the look. Besides plain laminates, you also have fluted laminates in the market, which add texture and depth. If you want a natural wood look, you can go for wood veneer, and if you prefer a stone-like appearance, stone veneer is a good choice. Acrylic gives a premium, high-end look, but here is a tip. High-gloss acrylic is very sensitive. Any small surface imperfection will be visible. So instead of fixing it directly on blockboard or plywood, it is better to first apply it over 3 mm MDF and then put the acrylic on top. For laminate, veneer, and acrylic, you can choose either matte or gloss finishes, depending on the kind of ambience you want in the room. Next, we have glass with aluminium profiles. For wardrobe shutters, you can use clear glass, frosted glass, fluted glass, or tinted glass. A clear glass shutter with wooden laminates inside looks really elegant. Glass wardrobes are also very trendy nowadays. If you like the look of rattan but want something maintenance free, you can sandwich it between two glass panels. Lastly, there is leather, which gives a truly luxurious and premium appearance with a wide range of colors to choose from. So, in short, for the external finish of your wardrobe, you can choose from these 6 popular options: laminate, veneer, acrylic, glass, rattan, or leather, each offering a distinct look and feel depending on your style and budget. Now let us talk about modular versus handmade furniture. Modular furniture usually looks the best because the designs are factory cut and it is hard to achieve the same precision on site with handmade pieces. But of course, modular will generally cost more. If you are going for a modular wardrobe, there are some extra features and accessories you can add that make it really convenient and organized. First, there is the shoe organizer. One type is a 360-degree rotating rack that can store 30 to 35 pieces of footwear. If you don't have space for that, you can also plan a simpler, normal shoe organizer inside the wardrobe. Next are pull-down hangers. These are perfect if your wardrobe height is less, or if the top shelves are hard to reach. You can just pull them down to easily access your clothes. Then comes the jewelry organizer, which is literally a heaven for girls. It helps you arrange all your jewelry neatly so nothing gets lost or tangled. Another handy addition is the iron board. Modern wardrobes have compact foldable ironing boards that fit nicely into a small space and are very easy to access whenever you need them. You can also add tie holders and pant hangers. The bottom areas of wardrobes are often hard to reach, so these hangers made it easy to store and access ties and pants without bending too much. So in short, modular wardrobes not only look clean and precise, but they also let you add all these practical accessories that make your wardrobe highly organized and convenient. For wardrobe hardware, best brands are Heritage, Blum, Hafele, Ozone, Godrej, Kitsch and Dorset. So tell me in the comments, what kind of wardrobe would you prefer in your room? Openable or sliding? So friends, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.